Brothers says the waiver will allow it to have discussions with Paramount Skydance on its buyout offer and any potential modifications. The filing says Netflix executed the waiver Tuesday, and Warner Brothers now has until the 23rd of this month to negotiate a possible transaction with Paramount Skydance. Rich Thomason reporting.
General Mills stock fell after saying customers appear to be feeling less confident. NVIDIA swung between being one of the heaviest weights on the market and one of its biggest strengths as AI hopes and worries keep pressuring Wall Street one way, then the other. At the closing bell, it was a Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 32 points, the NASDAQ up by 31. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bob Agnew.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We'll start to cloud up overnight. We do stay quite mild, a low temperature of 50. Tomorrow, more clouds than sunshine. Look for a high of 73. It's the same forecast for Thursday. A little bit warmer, 76 the high. On Friday, a 30% chance for rain to go with a high temperature all the way up to 79 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
The Point. The Point. This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All righty, Talking Tuesday coming at you here on the Sports Talk Media Network. Great to have you with us. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen from the Bergie Palace, and the plumber, Josh Cohen. Phone number 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk tonight. Our number to reach us via text, 803-900-4847, 803-900-4847. A lot to cover, a lot of activity going on as we speak with college baseball all across the states. We're going to catch you up on the baseball scores if you are just tuning in to, any sports talk show, but in particular this one, since this one just started. We'll catch you up on the scores going on across the state. And then, I am not breathing hard, and then tonight, it's South Carolina at Florida in college basketball, and that could be a very, very ugly game. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. So, first of all, wow, Clemson and Charlotte and the Tigers, they're not fooling around. A 5-run first, a 3-run second, a 2-run third, and they're up 2-0 on Charlotte as they play that 10-0 at Doug Kingsmore Stadium. That was not a mistake. That was just a misread. 10-0 at Doug Kingsmore Stadium. So the Tigers have their bats red hot and off to a good start today, and that will most likely, if it continues along those lines, of course, assuming they're playing the 10-run rule. Not every game, not every place does that, I don't think, but I think most places do. They should. 10-0 there, Clemson over Charlotte. South Carolina and Wofford playing up in Spartanburg. Do you have that score?
Yeah, Wofford hit a solo home run in the first inning, and that's the only run that has come across thus far. And the Terriers lead the Gamecocks 1-0 as USC comes to bat in the top of the third.
All right, 1-0. So Wofford getting the one run, and South Carolina's bat's kind of quiet so far today. They made a couple of changes in the starting lineup for this game. Not that you wouldn't be surprised by anything about that, because it's early in the season. You're going to look at different lineups and try different folks to see who might step up and have a hot hand or give you a little bit of a spark. So South Carolina trying that today, and the bats have not responded at this point, eh?
Scobie with the only base hit. They've been out hit 4-1 thus far, has USC. So Wofford's actually threatened in both the first and second innings. They've left 2 already on base, as has USC, but they've had a chance to actually increase the lead, and Gamecock pitching able to get out of it.
All right, and over in Conway, it's the College of Charleston and Coastal Carolina. They're in the top of the 7th. This is a good one. Good midweek pitching matchup here. Coastal Carolina leading the College of Charleston 2-1. Coastal had a 2-0 lead. Charleston scores a run in the 5th. 2-7-1 for Coastal Carolina and 1-4-0 for the Cougars. The Cougars off to a little bit of a slow start. They went 1-3 in the opening weekend, and Coastal, of course, cruised through their 3 games to open the season last weekend. So 2-1, a good pitching matchup going on there. Pitching for Coastal Carolina, Jackson Smolitz started, went 2 innings. Daniel Parker went 2 innings. The 2 of them gave up 4 hits. And Darren Horn, I dare say that name?
Darren Horn.
Yeah. Darren Horn, 1 1/3. They've only struck out 4. So not a lot of strikeouts there. For Charleston, Carter Harrington started, went 3 innings, 3 hits, a run. It was earned. Struck out 7.
Yeah, he was really good.
Caden Myers went 1 2/3, gave up 3 hits and 1 earned run. And Ryan Hinch is on now. He's given up a hit in 1 1/3 innings. So that's where that stands. All right, so Clemson up 10-0, Wofford leading South Carolina 1-0, and Coastal Carolina over the College of Charleston 2-1. And we'll update other scores as we go along. Phone number 888-898-2525. Text line is 803-900-4847. Coming up, wide open for your phone calls. We will have some recruiting for you a little bit later on in the program. And at the bottom of the second hour, a visit, of course, Josh Harris from Darlington. We look back on the 500, look ahead to this week in Atlanta this week. And the weather looks like it's going to be just dandy for racing in the Southeast this weekend.
Yeah, should be really nice. Unusual, because that's the one concern you have around our time at this time of year in our portion of the country. But yeah, it should be gorgeous this weekend, I would think.
And keep that up for a few more weekends, and let Darlington be blessed with we don't need any mid-March snowstorm to come blowing through.
No.
Which has happened. We've been known to have a little bit of a winter hit in March. We don't want that to happen, however, especially around Darlington time. All right, so that's what we've got coming up tonight. If you want to join us, feel free to jump on board. Love to hear from you tonight. So a couple of things to talk about tonight as we get the show rolling. And the state Senate at the South Carolina State Senate today moved that measure along, which would prohibit the ability to FOI information when it comes to payments to college athletes for NIL money. And there were a few who voted against it, and I think the governor has spoken out against this measure and has indicated that he might not sign off on it, that he might veto it. The no votes, this was in the Senate, they advanced this bill exempting NIL earnings, those terms, from public records. So apparently there's only one more vote before it goes to the governor's desk for his signature. Those who voted against it, this is according to Nick Reynolds, who covers the State House for the Post and Courier. The no's were only the last names here, so if you hear your senator, you'll know who we're talking about. Senators Bright, Clymer, Corbin, Fernandez, Kennedy, Kimbrell, Lieber, Massey, Rickenbach, Peeler, and Stubbs. All the rest said yay. Those were the nays. So I talked to my political consultant, and to get some background on this, I talked to my political consultant to find out more about how this works and what it all means. And, my first reaction from a media standpoint is this is not good. This is not right. You should have transparency. The public should know. The public has the right to know. the public has the right to know where its money is going. Now, some will argue that it's not public money, that is not on the table here, and that is not what is in question. But then again, when you're talking about NIL dollars, I mean, is that not, when I say public money, I mean money that you and I, if we were fans, would give, would send, would pay the athletes for playing at my particular school. So does the public not have a right to know how much money an individual player is giving? Do they not have the right to know how much you're overpaying for some bench warmer, who you got out of the transfer portal, who never plays, but he's getting paid X amount of dollars? Do they have the right to know that? Is there a right to know that? The argument is, and this is what's winning today in the State House, and this is what Shane Beamer and Dabo Swinney and I guess others have lobbied for, and those who lobby for the universities have gone in there and lobbied for this, and that is if you allow public access to this information, if you allow anybody to be able to FOI this information, then that information could be used by schools who are recruiting against you, that they could FOI it or their representatives could FOI it. And so if you're negotiating with a player, and let's say you're going up against Tennessee, and Tennessee wants to find out what that offer is that's in a contract, I guess, or what he signed for, what this person signed for, and maybe they want to use it in an angle with another recruiter, somebody else you're recruiting. Anyway, it's information that they want to keep private. They think that hurts them in the recruiting space. And, I mean,
haven't looked at it that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's their argument. But here's
not a bad one.
Here's my counter, though. My counter is this. So if that's what your fear is, how can you keep that information from not getting in the hands of an opponent? Because if you're recruiting, Billy Bob over here, if you're recruiting Billy Bob and he's got an agent, Johnny ATM, and he's talking to you, and he's saying, okay, my client Billy Bob here, he wants $1.2 million to come play for you. All right. And so you say, okay, well, we'll offer 1.1 to you. Okay. Well, Johnny ATM, Mr. Sleazeball agent, what's he going to do? He's going to go call the other school and say, hey, this school here is offering 1.1. He wants 1.2. They're offering. He's going to tell them what the offer is. They're going to find out, are they not? I don't see how this is going to protect. If that's the argument, that it is to prevent competitors from finding out what you're paying or what you're offering, I don't see how you're going to keep that information from getting in the hands of the other people. I don't know. That's kind of how I look at it.
I think you're 100% correct, Phil, and I've never looked at it just from the strictly recruiting side of the coin and the transactional side of this. I think, though, also, and let's play devil's advocate on the other end of this, I think the coaches are concerned that if this information gets out to their fan base and they are spending, let's just throw a number out there, South Carolina is spending $50 million. Excuse me. South Carolina is spending $30 million on their football team, and they go 4-8 next year. Well, who's going to come under criticism for that? Obviously, Shane Beamer. Dabo Swinney's spending $37 million on his, and he can't win the ACC. His fan base is going to go berserk. What are we doing wasting all this money? Why aren't you winning? You need to go away. We need to get somebody who knows how to manage a budget and get in here and win ball games. So I think from a livelihood standpoint and sake of their job, I think that's part of, let's face it, they're human beings too. They want to keep their job. And if this kind of information got out, and you're spending way too much money for a 4-8 team, or on the flip side, you spend $25 million and get to the college football playoff, maybe folks look at you and say, that guy's a genius.
Yeah, but here's the other argument. Everybody knows right now it's at $20.5 million. That's the revenue share, the $20.5 million. Okay.
Right.
So everybody knows that amount. That's going up. That goes up next year to like 21 something, maybe 22 million. So that goes up. And so now everybody is guessing about how much, like we'll stick with football to make it simple. And like at South Carolina, how much of that revenue share is South Carolina getting for football to spend? If you're losing, the argument among the fans will be you're not spending enough. You're not spending enough. So you might say, well, we spent $15 million on this roster. And if you go 4-8 or 5-7 or even 6-6, the argument would be, well, you got to spend more. You got to spend more. I don't think the fact that the public would know how much you're spending is going to impact anything one iota. Because, again, I believe that who you are recruiting against, I don't see how you're going to keep that secret.
No, I would agree with that.
Because they're going to, they're going to play one side against the next.
Sure
That's how it works in the let's use the real pros, the legacy pros, for example, in Major League Baseball free agency. Everybody knew, going back to Juan Soto, everybody knew that it wasn't a secret that the Yankees were offering him $760 million, and the Mets came in and offered $765. And so what does he do? He signs with the Mets for $765. You can't keep that stuff quiet, even if you – that's why I'm saying the look here from the state Senate, from the last thing that any state body should be in favor of is non-transparency.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Right? Should they not be in favor of not? They should be transparent. The people want transparency, and of course now they're saying, well, this isn't state money. No state money, no government money is being used here. It's all being used by it's donor money, it's fan money, and so maybe that money should be kept in the dark. But nobody likes things that are happening in the dark. When things happen in the dark, you have things happen like what happened at IMG Academy. Did you see this story?
I did. Oh, my gosh.
IMG Academy has been hit with a $1.7 million fine for accepting tuition linked to a Mexican drug cartel for over 5 years. Talk more about that in a moment.
Too tough to tame? Try too rough to ride. Nothing about this place lets you sit back. It rips up your tires and tears at your heart. Let's go! History, glory, consequences. That's Darlington, where stripes are well earned. The Goodyear 400. NASCAR's best face the lady in black. And this spring, how about that? She'll leave her mark. Hell yeah, boys! NASCAR weekend at Darlington Raceway, March 20th through the 22nd. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
If you're a new parent or grandparent, it might be tough to picture your little ones heading off to college, but it'll be here before you know it. I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to start saving for a child's future education right now. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college today at futurescholar.com. That's futurescholar.com.
Just like in college basketball today, sometimes it's about who you bring in off the bench to provide that extra spark. At StraightUpSports.net, we're excited to announce the addition of Brett Friedlander, a longtime ACC insider columnist, to our all-star lineup that includes Bob Gillespie, Scott Kiefer, Mark Sturgis, and more. At StraightUpSports.net, it's always about the stories. Check out this all-star lineup at StraightUpSports.net or at Straight Up Sports on Facebook.
Make your plans now to get to the coast for the Palmetto State's premier baseball showcase. The Classic, March 5th through 8th at Mike Johnson Park in Georgetown. Now in its 36th year, the Classic features the best high school players and teams from across South Carolina. Don't miss your chance to see the state's top Major League Baseball prospects and title contenders at the Classic, presented by Coastal Chevrolet Cadillac Nissan. There'll be games and contests, including a home run derby throughout the weekend. Visit theclassicgtown.com for tickets and more information. The Classic, showcasing South Carolina's finest in high school baseball, March 5th through the 8th in the state's best ballpark, Mike Johnson Park in Georgetown.
Play ball!
South Carolina's tied it up at Wofford. It's 1-1 in the top of the fourth. I wish I could easily tell you what's going on. They use the worst. They use Sidearm Sports, which is the worst stat system out there. I don't know why they don't use Stat Broadcast, which is the best, but they're using the worst. Sidearm Sports 1-1. South Carolina and Wofford. They're in the top of the fourth, so South Carolina has tied that game up.
Reese Moore with a base hit to center field for the RBI.
Okay.
And it's an unearned run for the Gamecocks.
All right.
To tie the game.
And College of Charleston has tied Coastal Carolina 2-2. That game's in the bottom of the seventh. And Clemson's now up 11-0 on Charlotte after 6. So assuming the 10-run rule. Assuming the 10-run rule's in play here, this one could be over really soon. 11-4-0 for the Tigers, 0-4-2 for Charlotte. And let's see. Jarrell had a grand slam in the first to get things rolling for the Tigers. McClatty had a 2-run shot in the third. And Savoy, who's off to a red-hot start for them, he had a solo homer in the sixth. 11-0 Clem over Charlotte. Okay, phone number 888-898-2525. Today, Shane Beamer spoke to a USC journalism class.
Did he now?
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. He came to my class unexpectedly.
Did you fall asleep in class?
I was about to fall asleep before he walked in, and then my professor says, we have a special guest.
Did you give him a Go Cox?
I did not. I actually, in the picture that they posted online.
You didn't wear your Florida shirt in there, did you?
I wore this shirt.
Tell me no.
I wore this shirt. Everybody was given a Go Cox. I don't even know what you call this, but.
Spurs up.
And I just sat there straight-faced.
Loser.
Great. And,
that's terrible.
I asked a question.
You're sitting right there you're using our funds. You're using state funds to educate that mush brain of yours. The least you could do is root for the Gamecocks.
I was actually writing an essay with AI as he was walking in.
Oh, great.
I'm not surprised.
I asked a question,
education.
Anyway, a couple of things that Beamer had to say were.
Well.
You better not say it. According to a source,
you say
according to a source that we had planted in that room.
Yeah.
He was going to have a couple of interviews today with candidates for his special teams coordinator's job today. And probably the worst question I've ever heard.
It was a good – he even complimented
some ignorant dolt asked him about the spring game at Williams-Brice.
You want to play it?
No, the quality's not very good.
It's great quality.
No. And so he asked about whether they're going to play the spring game at Williams-Brice because of the construction and everything going on there. So that's not going to happen. That's been shot down. They won't be at Williams-Brice. He did say there's been talk of moving it somewhere else in the state. A lot of different people have reached out with, come here, come here, come here. It sounds to me like, and this is what he said, what's in the works will be like a special fan fest event the weekend that they would have the spring game. So
I do have a clip I do want to play. It's 2 seconds. I just want to show that I did have a good question.
Experience question. That's a hard-hitting media question right there. I like it.
Ooh, it's a good question.
Very nice, Josh.
Hard-hitting media question.
That's what he says.
What's to prevent Carolina and Clemson in particular from taking their spring game, putting it on tour every year, and taking it around the state?
Well, you lose a recruiting opportunity, number one through number 100. You lose a recruiting opportunity.
Okay.
It's all about recruiting.
Sort of ends that, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, no one wants to go watch a spring game anymore, at least from a fan's perspective. The coaches don't want to have it because they're afraid information might get out or somebody gets hurt. So I was
maybe the state Senate can legislate that they have to have a spring game since they're so, interested in the workings of the athletic departments.
Evidently so.
It's a recruiting thing. The whole thing is a recruiting thing. In some cases, it's a chance to let some young players play in front of a crowd. You're still going to have 25, 30, 35,000 at these games for at least a half. So it gives them a chance to play in front of a live audience at game speed in the stadium for the first time, for whatever that's worth. But really, it's a recruiting thing. They usually bring in as many of their top recruits as possible. They have them there for the day. They get to show them around and da-da-da-da. So that's what South Carolina's going to miss. Yeah. They're going to miss that unless this Fan Fest thing that they're working on could involve having recruits coming in for that. They could certainly have a recruiting weekend built in around that. So that appears to be the direction that they're leaning at this time.
He mentioned that he's had coaches reach out from high school coaches from Charleston in the upstate, and even a small college in Columbia reach out and having it at their college. What college could that be?
That could be.
I was going to say, what college could that be?
No, are you asking that facetiously?
Yeah. I mean, Benedict, right?
I think Benedict would be a great spot for it.
Benedict, but
They've
it
got a
only
nice
seats
facility.
6,000.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for 30,000, you got to have it at Williams-Brice.
Yeah, I mean,
or
how
Clemson.
are you going to tell people that you can't come? I mean, then you have to limit it to just your highest giving donors, or if you're going to have a crowd that small, 6,000, you couldn't open it up to the public and just
put it up in Charlotte.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, they're always looking for new stuff.
Why do you want to cross the state lines?
We could just build a new stadium.
How about you not even bring up ideas? Okay.
Maybe
How about
if they had finished the
why don't you let me
Panthers
be the creator of ideas here, and you just run the show? Okay. How about
maybe
you
if
do
the
that?
Panthers would have finished their operations building in Rock Hill, then we would have had a place to put the game.
Well, they got a very nice interchange up there. I just drove by it the other day.
The road to nowhere.
What's that thing called? The what do they call it? The Palmetto Highway? Is that what they call that thing up there? This beautiful little intersection, but you're right. It goes nowhere.
Road to nowhere.
All right, we'll continue after the bottom of the hour break. 1-1 at Wofford, 2-2 at Coastal. Be back in a moment.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We'll start to cloud up overnight. We do stay quite mild, a low temperature of 50. Tomorrow, more clouds than sunshine. Look for a high of 73. It's the same forecast for Thursday. A little bit warmer, 76 the high. On Friday, a 30% chance for rain to go with a high temperature all the way up to 79 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Nothing better than supporting local farmers and getting the best of the best when it comes to beef. Did you know H&J Cattle Company now is a store you could shop at directly? Yep, 2074 Bethany Schoolhouse Road in Saluda. Highest quality beef, a nice drive out to the country, and great playground for the kids. You can even get an ATV tour of the farm. Even have local honey, tallow, elderberry syrup, and beautiful home decor items. Online, it's HandJCattle.com or find us on Facebook, H+J Cattle. Better yet, come on around and see us. H&J Cattle Company.
The shooters. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. U.S. Capitol Police in Washington, D.C. have arrested an 18-year-old man after he ran toward the west side of the Capitol building armed with a shotgun. Capitol Police Chief Michael Sullivan says Carter Camacho of Smyrna, Georgia, parked a Mercedes SUV near the Capitol on Tuesday, got out and ran several hundred yards toward the building before officers intercepted him and ordered him to the ground. Pawtucket Chief of Police Tina Consalves says the person who opened fire during a youth hockey game at an ice rink in Rhode Island killed their ex-wife and one son. Gonsalves says the victims were the shooter's ex-wife Rhonda Dorgan and adult son Aiden Dorgan. Police have identified the shooter as 56-year-old Robert Dorgan, who also went by the name Roberta Esposito. This is SRN News.
Are you tired of that sinking feeling when the electric bill arrives? Does the phrase peak hours trigger anxiety and a headache? Do you suffer from chronic fatigue of watching your hard-earned money evaporate right into the power grid? You may be suffering from utility pain and anxiety disorder, or UPAD. Symptoms include sweating when running the AC, a fear of turning on lights, and a general feeling of powerlessness over your energy costs.
It's time for you to try Solarist from Ken at Broker Solar. Broker Solar isn't a temporary fix, but a lasting solution with cutting-edge solar technology designed to address high energy bills at their source. Many clients have experienced immediate relief from high monthly payments with reports of increased home value and greater financial freedom. Imagine a brighter future for your home and your wallet. Side effects include the freedom to use your appliances when you want and a powerful sense of energy independence. Broker Solar. A brighter outlook for your home and wallet. Call us now, 803-807-7417. That's 807-7417 or online at brokersolar.com.
Attention all gun owners. Did you know you can now purchase a suppressor with a $0 tax stamp? Palmetto State Armory is the go-to destination for suppressors with brands like Dead Air, Advanced Armament, Silencer Co., and many more on hand. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff is there to help walk you through the suppressor buying process and help you make the right decision, whether it's your first suppressor purchase or your 10th. Stop in today and take advantage of the new $0 tax stamp on suppressors at Palmetto State Armory, your premier suppressor dealer.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
When the Midlands weather puts your roof to the test, trust Shingles Now Roofing. Your local family-owned specialist, Charlie and Rodney, both GAF Master Elite contractors, pride themselves on quality repairs and replacements. Fully licensed and insured, we promise honest work at a fair price. Enjoy free inspections and estimates so you can always know where you stand. Protect your home with a team that treats you like family. Shingles Now Roofing. Shingles Now. Roof repairs right away. Visit shinglesnow.com.
When your temperatures swing, your comfort shouldn't. At Sweet Comfort Services, we make sure your system's ready for anything. Get our $99 preventative maintenance, a full inspection and tune-up that keeps your equipment efficient, reliable, and safe. Thinking it's time for an upgrade? We offer estimates on new Goodman and American Standard systems. You'll get honest advice, fair pricing, and expert installation. No gimmicks, no surprises. Call 803-331-8143 or visit sweetcomfortservices.com to schedule today.
All right, Coastal Carolina scored a run, bottom of the 7th. They're threatening second and third, 2 out, taking a 3-2 lead on the College of Charleston. South Carolina now has taken a 3-1 lead in the top of the 4th at Wofford. 3-6-0 for the Gamecocks, 1-4-1 for the Terriers. How'd they do it, Bergie?
All right, let me siphon through here the Rubik's Cube that is Sidearm Sports and see if I can pull up the scoring. Just give me,
All right, I'll tell you about the Clemson
I'll have it
deal
before the end of the show.
While you're doing it, Clemson has finished off Charlotte 11-1, 11-8-0 for the Tigers, 1-5-2 for the 49ers. And today for Clemson, let's see, Savoy had 3 hits, scored 3 runs, had an RBI. Gerald had 2 hits, had that grand slam. On the mound, Simpson gets the win. He's 1-0. He went 4 innings, 2 hits. He walked 2, struck out 1. Dvorsky went an inning, allowed 2 hits. Bennett went an inning, allowed 3 walks and struck out 3. Fowler finished up with an inning, 7 innings for the Tigers. He got the last inning, a hit, and he did give up a run. It was earned. Tigers ended up striking out 7, and they walked 5. So walkover win over Charlotte for them today, 11-1. You figure it out yet?
Yes, sir. Reynolds with an RBI single, and then that was followed by Tyler Bach going up against his former team and getting an RBI single to center field.
Okay.
So those are your 2 additional runs for USC.
I guess we should give a quick check on the pitching in the game for South Carolina and Clemson at this point. I just don't know where to go to find it in this particular layout. I mean, it's just, ugh. Do you see the pitching anywhere?
Yes, let's see. For the Gamecocks, Chicoli has gone the complete game to this point. He's pitched 3 innings, a run allowed on 4 hits.
Mm-hmm.
Meantime, Wofford started Davis. Let me get his first name. That is Champ Davis. Champ went 3 innings, gave up a run on 2 hits. That run was not earned. And then he has been replaced by Branton Little, who has worked an inning now and allowed 2 runs on 4 hits. Both those hits were earned. A strikeout to go along with the 2 from Davis. And meantime, Chicoli has struck out 3 as well.
All right, to the phones we go, 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. We go to Hank, first up tonight here on Sports Talk. Hank, welcome in. How you doing?
Doing fine, Corn. When you're talking about that NIL, what I've heard also from some of the coaches, I don't know if you remember, there was a story where some folk interviewed Coach Staley about the NIL situation with the team and players, and she said something like that all of her players, once they complete their NIL deals, they have to sign an NDA, so they're not disclosed. Now, she said she has some players that will eventually, if the player has the same agent as another player, then they kind of know, but they all have to sign an NDA because they have different salaries amongst the players on their team.
Mm-hmm.
And, even though the coaches didn't mention that, you got to think that's got to play some into it because in your doling out raises or, depending on who's starting or whatever, and those things go out, they probably don't want that type of comparison, what do you call it, comparison shopping, or comparison getting, I guess, going on even just right in their locker room.
Why?
So,
Why would that be the case, though? Because, at every level of professional sports where the athletes are getting paid, it's not socialism. Everybody's getting paid a different amount. And you take a look at You take a look at Major League Baseball. You got Aaron Judge is making his millions with the Yankees, but that doesn't mean that a player making a lot less, who's not a player at that level, is going to go out and play any less effort-wise to try to win the game. And it shouldn't. I'm saying it shouldn't affect the college athlete that way either. If that's the fear that there's going to be a disruption in the clubhouse, somebody's not going to play as hard because they're not making as much money as somebody across the hall there, then you got a problem with the system, or you got a problem with the mental approach there. So go ahead. What were you going to say?
Corn, when you say it shouldn't be, there's a difference between shouldn't be and what is. Because if you remember, at Ole Miss and at Florida, when some information got leaked out about some individual players' deals, and I think at Florida State after the year that Florida State did so well, when some information got leaked out about some players' deals and what they had, you had because they're inmates, but a lot of folks going in there arguing, thinking their deal wasn't fair and their deal wasn't fair, and some folks got in the portal, some folks transferred out. So it's just a thing, kind of like if you work in an organization and you give somebody a raise, or you don't have another employee come over and ask, hey, how much was your raise versus my raise?
Mm.
It shouldn't be. I hear you saying it shouldn't be, but
I'm not saying
that out there and it's running out there, you can have issues.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen in the legacy professional sports. Obviously, Bergie, there's been guys that go behind a microphone and complain about their salaries compared to somebody else on their team
all the time.
But it's well, I don't know if it's all the time. I'd say it's happened. Some of the guys who have maybe a higher view of themselves than what they actually deserve to have will be the ones that'll spout off about that for whatever reason, trying to generate either public sympathy or position themselves for a raise or whatever. But I don't think it's that often that you hear that in the legacy professional ranks. Again, from time to time. But if they're afraid of that here on the college level as they've transitioned to this professional model, then they're going to have really, many more problems than you would have. This is just an additional slippery slope you're going to have to navigate as you venture into this new world of paying these athletes. If there's going to be internal jealousy to the point where you got to hide everything from everybody, where, okay, now we're signing you, you're our starting left tackle, and we're signing you to $1 million, but we're not signing the starting right tackle, but to, $650,000. But you can't tell him. If that's how you have to do the deal, then you're just going to have these inherent problems in your organization as a result of that.
Yeah, but like I said, I know with the one time it was mentioned that they, I know the girls on the basketball team signed an NDA, and it's like you said.
So all the girls on the South Carolina women's team, they sign non-disclosures?
Yeah, for the NIL. They said you can probably find that interview was up before. She said sometimes they find out because a couple of them have the same agent, so the agent knows. So they, the agent will talk. But other than that, they do sign an NDA. So if something gets out and there is precedence between them and the agent and whomever, but it's not placed on the. It doesn't fall back to the coaches, and there are a number of other schools that have mentioned that they'll have their players sign NDAs in terms of their NIL money.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I mean, I don't know, Berg. Yeah, it just when you operate in a space of secrecy like that, I just think you're going to be breeding issues. I mean, the internal jealousies. And
the girls talk, even as Hank pointed out with the NDA, that may be public, but you can't tell me they're not sitting around the dorm or around their apartments and in an honest moment with one another saying, how much is Coach paying you?
You don't think the guys talk?
Oh, I'm sure they do. I was just using
No, you
Hank's
picked
example.
on the girl. You picked on the girls.
No, well, Hank's the one who brought up they signed an NDA. And my point was they may not say it publicly, but I guarantee you every one of the players on that team know exactly how much, I would think, know exactly how much all their teammates are making.
I would think so.
I would just think that's awfully hard to believe that's not the case.
I would think
I mean,
so.
You're with your teammates 7 days a week, almost 24 hours a day.
All right, let's go to some text messages here. Our text message line here on Sports Talk brought to you by Larry Lucas State Farm Agency. Larry's been taking care of people across South Carolina more than 2 decades. Not as long as Sports Talk's been around, but still long enough. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com or give Larry a phone call, 803-799-1998. That's the Columbia office in Lexington. 803-359-0770 is that number. So this is from Uncle D, not to be confused with Uncle B or Aunt C. Are you aware of any state that has passed legislation requiring disclosure of NIL payments? If NIL payments aren't universally available from every school in the country, it does hurt the state schools from a competitive standpoint. I'm not aware of any state that's requiring it. No. In fact, I think South Carolina is just following other states that are also putting this information in the dark. So I hear what you're saying, but again, I don't think you can protect that information from who you're trying to protect it from. If you're trying to keep that information from getting in the hands of competing schools, they're going to find out through their agents, I would imagine, first and foremost. Or the player themselves might tell them. I mean, who knows? But I don't see how the opposing team or teams won't find out when it comes to bidding for these guys. Let's see here. Nope, not going there. This is from the 803.
Ray says go Gators. I just wanted to mention that.
Okay.
He's all over the map. How many teams did he pull for?
I don't read his stuff. You broke my policy. That's a fine. You're being fined.
It's not a factual error, Phil.
You're being fined. Let's see. This is from the other three. Spring game. USC could use SC State Stadium, at least 22,000. They could. Yeah. I don't think they're interested. Well, I won't. Well, yeah. I don't think they're interested in taking it off campus. I mean, you can still have something on campus, still have your fans come in. I think you asked, didn't your follow-up question?
Your source's follow-up question.
I'm sorry. Didn't my super secret source's follow-up question was something like, would they have it at the practice fields or something?
I said Gamecock Park, meaning across the street.
Yeah.
But it could be in the fairgrounds. It could block it off the fairgrounds.
What you going to do in the fairgrounds?
It's a good question.
I mean, where are you going to
7-on-7 pickup?
Well, like a big.
Awesome.
where are you going to play?
I don't know. Have a big stage out there.
To do what?
Let the coach talk. I don't know. What do I look like?
What are you making in that
Philosopher?
class? Are you making F?
Okay, so I got a 92 on my last exam, but it was late by 30 minutes, so it got 15% off. So I really got a 78 on the exam.
What do you mean late by 30 minutes?
How are you late on the exam?
Late on an exam?
Oh, it's online. So I did it. It was due
Ah,
at 11.
jeez.
It was due at 11:59 p.m.
If I were able to take Bergie, if you and I were able to take online courses, I'd be an Albert Einstein.
It wasn't an online course. I was in class today when Shane Beamer showed up.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about taking the test online.
That's when the test was available. Anyways, I did it.
So when you took that test online, did you look in your book while you were taking the test?
And I'm allowed to.
You can look in the book?
It's open book.
Oh, my
open
God.
notes.
How do you people get any kind of an education?
I had an exam yesterday that was open internet. You could use the internet. You could look up your answers on the internet.
That's not an exam.
Good Lord. No wonder we're in the shape we're in. All right, let's run to the break. Phone number 888-898-2525. 3-1. South Carolina continues to lead Wofford. Top of the 5th. College of Charleston has come back with a run top of the 8th to tie it with Coastal. 3-3.
Really good game.
Hey, didn't the Cougars give the Shots some issues last year?
They were one of 4 teams last year to beat Coastal twice.
Yeah. Well, it's 3-3 now, top of the 8th, 1 out, and the Cougars have 2nd and 3rd, and we'll be back.
Too tough to tame? Try too rough to ride. Nothing about this place lets you sit back. It rips up your tires and tears at your heart. Let's go! History, glory, consequences. That's Darlington, where stripes are well earned. The Goodyear 400. NASCAR's best face the lady in black. And this spring, how about that? She'll leave her mark. Hell yeah, boys! NASCAR weekend at Darlington Raceway, March 20th through the 22nd. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
We're with Major Billy Downer with the Department of Natural Resources, and we're visiting at the brand new DNR offices at the State Farmers Market. Major, tell us more about this place.
That's right, Phil. The Department of Natural Resources has a new office located at the South Carolina Farmers Market. You can find us at 260D Epting Lane inside the Farmers Market grounds. Look for the DNR logo when you turn off of Highway 221 in West Columbia, or you can always go to the App Store on your Apple or Android device and look for Go Outdoors SC. Download the app and you can buy all of your license needs right there.
Visit GoOutdoorsSouthCarolina.com today.
If you missed the home equity line of credit offer from Founders Federal Credit Union, we have good news. The offer has been extended, but don't wait. You only have until February 28th to get up to $750 toward closing costs when you open a Founders HELOC. That's more in your pocket for home improvements, debt consolidation, major purchases, unexpected expenses, or a much-needed vacation. The possibilities are endless. Imagine starting a new year with financial flexibility and peace of mind. But hurry, this special offer ends February 28th. Save more and jumpstart your year. Plus, you'll enjoy competitive rates and flexible terms designed to fit your budget. Visit foundersfcu.com/HELOC for more information. Membership qualification required. Institution NMLS. Identifier number 410646. Equal housing lender. See website for details.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's CORBETT. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
All right, can't wait to get to the beach. this week we've got the Coaches Clinic. Thursday, Friday, we'll be down in Myrtle Beach for that. Looking forward to that. Always a great event, a chance to hang around with coaches and watch them be educated by other coaches. So we'll be there coming up later on this week in Myrtle Beach. You, too, can get down to the beach, and you know what to do to get yourself a great place to stay, to fit your needs, your size, your budget. That's called Jimmy Smith, or contact Jimmy Smith at James Smith Real Estate. You can call him at 843-237-4246 or online for more information at pauliesvacationrentals.com. Obviously, the beach is the place to be. The weather's going to be fantastic this weekend and getting even better. So make your plans now for a spring vacation, a summer vacation, maybe next fall. Hey, comes at you quickly. Don't tarry. 843-237-4246 for your perfect beach getaway. James Smith Real Estate, online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. Phone number 888-898-2525. Let's catch you up on what happened last night in high school basketball. We had the state basketball tournament opening up for a number of different classifications. So we'll begin by catching up with the 4A girls because they had games last night. So in 4A girls last night, the winners were in the upper state, West Side, 73-12. Bluffton had to go all the way across the state to get beat 73-12, Bergie. 73-12. Travelers Rest defeated Fountain Inn. Blue Ridge won. Camden won. Camden beat Seneca. Wren was a winner. South Point was a winner. This cannot be right. This has got to be. Yeah, this has got to be it's got to be a typo. This cannot be right. This says, I'm looking at the high school. Look this up, Plumber. See if we can double check this. On the high school league website, in the bracket, unless a number got cut off, it must have. It says AC Flora beat Lauren 71-3. That can't be right. Yeah, it's got to be 30. It looks like this line here is cutting off a number. It might be 32.
71-38.
Okay. 71.
Now, 70. We've seen games like that, unfortunately, in the first round that are that ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because, again, the high school league in its infinite wisdom invites too many teams to the playoffs, and it's not just football. They do that.
Oh, yeah.
But, not quite that bad.
Daniel won over Berea. In the lower state, you had North Augusta a winner, and Lower Richland won. Wilson and Gray Collegiate won. Bishop England and Beaufort, Midland Valley, and also South Florence advanced. So no buys in the opening round there. So the winners that I've mentioned will be paired up against one another in the second round. But the biggest blowout was Westside, 73-12. Okay, so that was 4A girls. Let's go to 5A Division I girls. 5A Division I girls, and take a look at the results from that last night. 5A Division I girls. In the upper state, you had Spartanburg winning. Dorman had a bye. So Spartanburg won. Clover won. Blythewood, Dutch Fork, they had byes. Burns was a winner. J. Oman a winner, and Malden had a bye. In the lower state, Ashley Ridge with the bye. James Island with a win. And Wando a winner. Somerville a bye. Carolina Forest a bye. West Ashley with a win. River Bluff with a win. And Lexington gets a bye there as well. Okay. And we go to the 1A girls, which was the only other girls division to have games last night. 1A girls looked like this last night. Let's see here. 1A girls. Give me 1A girls here. Here we go. 1A girls in the upper state. McCormick a winner. Hunter Connor Tyler advanced. Lee Central, Ware Shoals North, Abbeville, Great Falls, and Ridge Spring Monetta. In the lower state, Military Magnet. Okay, here we go again. This must be cut off. Bergie. It says here Military Magnet beat Johnsonville 89-4. Must be 40-something. I'm looking at the bracket. I mean, this is the high school league's bracket. They got to do a better job. I mean,
yeah, no doubt.
It says 89-4.
That's what Max Preps has as well.
89-4?
Yeah.
Wow. I know Military Magnet's really good.
And so did WCSC out of Charleston. So,
I've seen the same
89-4.
89-4.
Wow. 39-32, Bamberg Earhart won its game. Bethune-Bowman won. Carvers Bay won. The mighty Homa champions, Latta Vikings, they advanced with a win over Ridgeland. Lakeview won its game, so Latta Lakeview, huge rivalry there in Dillon County. They'll be meeting up. Denmark-Oler and Green Sea Floyds won as well. Okay, let's see. On the boys' side, we've got let's go to 5A Division II boys. Take a look at those results. Pick up the pace here so we can get through all of this. 5A Division II. Last night's winners in the upper state, you had Eastside and Fort Mill, Greenwood, and Hillcrest. They all advanced. In the lower state, you had the winners, White Knoll, Erbo was a winner, Conway won, and Lugoff Elgin won. So that's 5A Division II boys. We'll check those other brackets after the break. Continue with your calls, your text messages, recruiting coming up, and Josh Harris. Be right back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Over 3,000 Christian broadcasters from 40 countries gathered today in Nashville for the kickoff of the 85th Annual Convention of the National Religious Broadcasters. NRB President Troy Miller says NRB 2026 has a jam-packed agenda of important topics.
This is the largest gathering of Christian communicators that'll happen really here in North America and around the world. This conference it's jam-packed, so we'll be doing a number of things. We have over 140 speakers that'll be covering every topic that's near and dear to the heart of a Christian communicator, as well as all the things that are going on legislatively or in the regulatory environments, partnering in ministry. It's just a great time.
The National Religious Broadcasters 2026 conference opened today and will continue all this week in Nashville, Tennessee. U.S. Capitol Police Chief Michael Sullivan tells WJLA-TV his officers intercepted a shotgun-carrying man before he got to the Capitol.
Who knows what could have happened if we wouldn't had officers here standing guard like they do every single day. I think it's important to note that just a few months ago, we had an active shooter exercise right here on the West Front, virtually in the same spot. And we do those active shooter exercises every single month. And that's why we do it.
Sullivan said the 18-year-old gunman was wearing a tactical vest and gloves and had a Kevlar helmet and gas mask in the vehicle. The shotgun was loaded and he had additional rounds on him. Civil rights leader and former presidential candidate Jesse Jackson has died at the age of 84, according to his family. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 32 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bills. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6969. 6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
U.S. bobsledder Ilana Myers-Taylor has gone from almost quitting the sport to winning Olympic gold. Bob Agnew reports.
A few weeks before Christmas, she texted her husband from Norway and said she couldn't keep going. Cooler heads eventually prevailed, and on Tuesday, she returned to training after taking the monobob title at the Milan Cortina Games. At 41, she becomes the oldest woman to win an individual Winter Games gold. She also tied the U.S. record for Winter Olympic medals by a woman. Bob Agnew reporting.
Mark Cuban says the NBA should embrace tanking and is criticizing the league for punishing teams that lose on purpose to improve draft outlooks. The minority owner of the Dallas Mavericks made his comments in a pair of posts on X. They came 3 days after Commissioner Adam Silver said the NBA was considering more changes to try to address tanking. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We'll start to cloud up overnight. We do stay quite mild, a low temperature of 50. Tomorrow, more clouds than sunshine. Look for a high of 73. It's the same forecast for Thursday. A little bit warmer, 76 the high. On Friday, a 30% chance for rain to go with a high temperature all the way up to 79 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. MakeThePointRadio.com. Come on, you're too slow. Press the button already.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Sports Talk Media Network. Good to have you with us here on this Talking Tuesday. If you'd like to join us, 888-898-2525. What do you think? Would you like to have that information made public about signed NIL deals between college athletes and sponsors? Should that be public information, or is it better left in the dark? South Carolina State Senate believes it's better left protected so that it can't get into the hands of evil competitors that can use that against you. And I understand, really I do understand from the school standpoint why they want that quiet. I can also understand from the player standpoint because, I mean, if you're sucking money out of a program and you're not very good and your salary or your NIL deal, all that money is out there, you know, people will be hard on you. They'll be hard on you on social media. But that's the world we live in, you know. You chose to go down that path. You chose to become a professional college athlete. You chose to use your fame to get your fortune. And if you don't live up to it, people have every right to be critical. Now, some go over the top with their criticism. I mean, some are just really, you know, out of control. But that's the world that we live in. I mean, the legacy pros, everybody, you know, knows what the second baseman is making for their favorite team, and if he's having a bad year, they hear the boos. You know, the boos rain down on them, and they have their social media channels as well, and they're critical of their guys. But they understand as professional athletes, that comes with the territory. The college people have got to grow up. I mean, they really have to mature in this new world of professional athletics within their space now. It's not kid glove treatment, or do we still treat them with kid gloves?
There is the ultimate question, Phil, and you finally got around to it. You're exactly right. How do we treat college athletes? You know, forever it was taboo to dare boo a college athlete because he or she was doing it for the love of the game and for scholarships so they could better themselves, get a quality education, the whole 9 yards. Now, though, they're paid just like, and in some regards, maybe even more than some of the professional athletes we watch on Sunday or on, you know, a Tuesday night in Chicago. And that's the ultimate question now. Are fans ready to make that shift Or do we still look at college athletes, and will we always look at college athletes a little bit differently than we do legacy sport athletes?
Yeah. Here's the other thing. These are young people, really. These are young people. If you skip your senior year of high school now and enroll in college the January after which you skip your senior year, so after you finish one half of your junior year, because they're doing that. They're doing that. I think you can do that. Or, yeah, let's just say that happens. I believe that happens. So you're like 16, maybe 17 years old. And now you're stepping into the world of higher athletics, number one, but now you're stepping into the monetary world as well, a world that you would not have stepped into until you were 21 or 22 before all this changed. You were a young man or woman when you became a professional and had money thrown at you, if it was done legally. Illegally, maybe you were getting some money under the table and all that kind of stuff. Okay, if you were that kind of player. But we're talking about a different age group now making unbelievable amounts of money for what their age group used to make legally, that they would have to pay taxes on. And they're not ready for it, mature-wise. They're not ready for it in a lot of ways. And I feel kind of bad for, I talk to these players in high school, of course, still, to write my recruiting stories. I still talk to them. And they're, for the most part, they're unassuming high school kids looking to make their official visits and go visit in the spring and see what they like and build their relationships. I never talk to them about money. I never bring that up. I would be very uncomfortable having that conversation. I don't care to go there like, okay, well, what are you looking for NIL-wise? I would never ask that question like, well, I think others do, but I would never ask that question. But they're not mature enough to handle all this in front of them, and I'm afraid a lot of them don't have the support around them to deal with everything that comes with big money. And I think a lot of them get in over their heads. I mean, it's nice to have the money. That's a nice problem to have, I guess. But it's not always a smooth sail when you get all this money thrown at you and you're not ready for it. You don't know how to react. And then when you don't live up to the expectations and everybody turns against you. Yeah, you got your money, but people can't wait to run you out of town.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's I still don't know how, when it comes to competing behind the scenes with NIL dollars and making the offers, how you're going to keep that quiet, how you're going to keep that out of the circles, because the On3, the websites that are so tied into the agents, On3, 24/7, Rivals, they find out what, through the agents, what these guys are making. They find out what the offers are. They report those offers. How do you think we find out that Mensa from Duke was making $4 million, and then now he's gone to Miami to make what, $6 million, whatever it was? It's out there. It's out there in the public space. But the legislature feels like it's got to take a position that it thinks will help all the schools in the state, but primarily South Carolina and Clemson, protect themselves when it comes to this sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I really have a hard time watching state legislatures, the federal government, getting involved in college athletics. And we've talked about this numerous times with regards to the feds getting involved in all the eligibility issues and the courts. They're not set up for this. This is not something they should be dealing with at all. And now I wonder, is this good for the state of South Carolina, or is it good for the politicians who agree with both Shane Beamer and Dabo Swinney? We assume that they agree with them so they can get votes from their constituents. Is that the only reason? Or do these state senators actually believe keeping that NIL money is actually a good thing for the athletes in South Carolina? If they have good intentions, I've got no problem with it. But my theory is, my thought process is, knowing how politicians work, that this is just, I can get a few extra votes from the Clemson fan base and a few extra votes from the Gamecock fan base, and they may get me reelected in November.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine the vast majority of the people in the Senate, I don't know this for a fact, I'm just kind of assuming here, the vast majority went to either Clemson or South Carolina. I know some went to other schools. I'm not saying they didn't go to other schools around the state, but I think most of them, and if they're lawyers, most of them probably went to the University of South Carolina Law School.
Right.
Or a good number of them did. So the point is they root for their school, and the coaches come in and lobby, and then you have lobbyists for the individual schools that go to these senators and say, hey, we need this. We need you to do this. We need this. This is in our interest. This is in the state's interest. It's in the fans' interest, blah, blah, blah. So kind of how that works, and that's how the process is over there, and they make their decision. They make their vote. But now the governor has already come out and said that he is not in favor of this, and he might veto the whole thing. So then it would have to go back, and you have to have a vote to override the veto, right?
That'd be correct. And Governor McMaster also doesn't have to deal with consequences since this is his final term. He's probably smart to say that, too. And he may fully believe that. I have no reason not to. But, it's funny, too. It reminds me, as you talk about the love that particular senators have for his or her school. Same thing here with the Alabama judge who declared that it was okay for Bediako to play. He just happened to be an Alabama booster. Did he really have, Bediako's best interest at heart, or did he think it was probably going to help Nate Oates' basketball team and we could go win a lot more if he's on that team?
But how about the one that ruled against him? Right there
True.
In Tuscaloosa. I mean, has anybody stated where he went to school? I mean, I don't know.
My guess is it may be Auburn.
Was it a different judge? Was that a different judge that ruled the second time? I'd have to go back and look at the story.
Yeah, that I do not know.
All right, South Carolina hanging in with Florida. About 8 minutes in, it's 15-10. South Carolina shooting 33%, Florida at 55%. South Carolina is being led thus far by Meechie Johnson with 6, including 1 3. Eli Ellis has 4. He's already taken more shots in the first 8 minutes than he took the entire game last time out. I think he took 1 shot, in the last game. He's 2 for 2 so far tonight. And those two have all the Gamecock points coming from the backcourt of Johnson and Ellis. Sherajohns has taken 2 shots. He's 0 for 2. Walker's 0 for 1. Knox is 0 for 2. So now it's 16-10 as Florida has scored again. And let's see who leads for Florida. Chinaloo has 5 for Florida so far. Gators are shooting 58%. Rebounding, which is always important here because Florida is the best rebounding team in the country, or one of them. Florida is only up 8-7 in rebounds. And South Carolina has 3 offensive boards to just 1 for the Gators. So the Gamecocks have come out with some effort.
I hope so after getting embarrassed by those guys the last time.
5 second chance points for South Carolina thus far. Now it's 18-10 as Florida is on a little bit of a run here, as Gator Boy over here is just as happy as he can be. I don't understand. I would flunk you if I were your professor and I knew that. I would flunk you. I'd drop you like a bag of potatoes. I'd give you such a big F.
You just cannot defend Florida. The Gators shot 57% from the field in the first half of the first game, and looks like they're going to be right around that number in the opening half here again. Carolina just does not. This is a horrible matchup for them.
Oh, yeah. But they have horrible matchups up and down the SEC. Where are you gonna run and hide? Okay, we'll be right back.
Looking for a new car? You need to think about a Kia. If you're in the market for an SUV, consider the new Kia Telluride or the new Kia Sorento. They're big, they're strong, and loaded with tech for thousands less than Honda or Toyota. You'll see the difference right away, and you get double the warranty. Plus, you get the JT's Advantage million-mile warranty and about 1,000 other things you have to see to believe.
If you want the biggest bang for your buck, it's time to think about a new JT's Kia.
We're serious about saving you money.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
If you want to reach sports fans, there's no better place than the Sports Talk Media Network. We give your business exposure on over 20 radio affiliates across South Carolina, plus online at SportsTalkSC.com and on our growing social media platforms. That means radio, digital, and social, all working together for your brand. Our audience is loyal, engaged, and they trust what they hear from us. We partner with local businesses, regional brands, and anyone who wants to connect with real sports fans. From live reads and sponsorships to digital advertising, we'll build a custom campaign to fit your goals and budget. Ready to advertise with Sports Talk Media Network? Visit sportstalksc.com/sales-contact. That's sportstalksc.com/sales-contact. Sports Talk Media Network. Advertising that reaches sports fans.
This is Major Billy Downer with the Department of Natural Resources, and I've got a message for all of our hunters out there. Whether you're on the water or going hunting on land, always tell someone where you're going. Be specific and tell them when you plan to return. Plan your hunt and hunt your plan. For more information on hunter education, visit dnr.sc.gov or join us on Wednesday nights for SC Wild.
Download the free Go Outdoors SC app from SCDNR, buy licenses, report harvests, and carry everything digitally right on your phone. Go Outdoors SC.
Just like in college basketball today, sometimes it's about who you bring in off the bench to provide that extra spark. At StraightUpSports.net, we're excited to announce the addition of Brett Friedlander, a longtime ACC insider columnist, to our all-star lineup that includes Bob Gillespie, Scott Kiefer, Mark Sturgis, and more. At StraightUpSports.net, it's always about the stories. Check out this all-star lineup at StraightUpSports.net or at Straight Up Sports on Facebook.
Josh Harris of Darlington coming up after the bottom of the hour break. 888-898-2525 is our number. Text line number 803-900-4847. Catch up on some things. College of Charleston has beaten Coastal Carolina 4-3. First loss of the year for Coastal Carolina. 4-8-1 for the Cougars. 3-9-1 for the Chanticleers. They scored the winning runs in the top of the 8th, and they got the run home on a ground out to short. Runner on third, runner scored, and that tied the game. And then they went ahead on a sacrifice fly, and that put them ahead. And then you go to the ninth inning. They're trying to protect the lead, and the Chanticleers went down in order. Strikeout, fly out, ground out to short. Hey, you know what? You're going to lose games in baseball.
No, you're supposed to win them all.
Coastal left 10 on base.
That's what the fan base tells you.
Yeah. Coastal left 10 on base today. Let's see what they did here. Coastal left 10. Coastal was 2 for 12 with 2 outs. 4 of 18 with runners on, 3 of 14 with runners in scoring position. One of those days, Cougars were only 2 of 10 with runners in scoring position, 2 of 11 with 2 outs. So it was pretty much a tough hitting day for both teams all around, but Charleston got it together there at the end and pulled out the win. It's Kurt Rogers getting the win. He went 3 innings, allowed 2 hits, 1 run, struck out 3, pitching in relief. So he gets the win, and taking the loss was Colby Richardson, 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, a walk. Scott Duran finished up, went 2 innings, allowed 2 runs, both earned, struck out 4. Coastal pitching did strike out 9, only walked 2. maybe deserved a better fate. But the College of Charleston kind of has their number right now.
They sure do. As I mentioned earlier, they were one of just 4 teams last year, joining Wake Forest, Troy, and, of course, LSU in the CWS Finals, to beat them twice last year. So the college knows how to play when it comes to their, Highway 17 rivals, I guess?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Highway 17 to 544.
Yep. South Carolina continues to lead Wofford 7-1. They're in the top of the 7th. Nobody out. And let's see, for South Carolina, pitching-wise, God, I hate this. Let's see. Chickoli started for them. He went 6 innings, allowed a run. It was earned. He allowed 5 hits. He struck out 7. Foster is on now for the Gamecocks, and he has pitched 2 innings. He's allowed a hit. He's walked 2. He has struck out 2. So how can that be? If it's the top of the 7th, how could they have pitched 8 innings?
No, Chickoli's pitch, he went 5.
Well, this says
Gave up
6.
a run on 5 hits, and Foster went 1.
Well, this says he went 6 innings, and the other one went 2 innings. I'm just reading it here.
Okay, so they're already to the 9th. Then your game.
I don't know.
Your stat program has the ability to jump into the future.
I guess. Let me refresh this thing. It says one's gone 6 innings and one's gone 2 innings. I promise you that's what I'm reading here. All right? So, anyway, that's the story.
Another heads up to Wofford. Get rid of sidearm sports.
Really?
Make it easy on us all.
Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. I'm looking at their season stats and not the game stats. Now I see it. This is why I hate this particular device. So, 5 innings for the starter and then 1 inning for the guy in relief. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's right. So let me go back and finish up. We were talking about high school basketball playoffs and the winners from last night. We left off at 3A boys. So last night in the upper state in 3A boys, you had as winners Christ Church, Union County, Chapman and Pendleton, Belton Honeypath and St. Joseph's, Powdersville, and Mountain View Prep. Mountain View Prep actually had a bye. I'm sorry, they did not. They beat Crescent. So Mountain View Prep advanced. Okay, that's the upper state. In the lower state, the winners were Orangeburg Wilkinson, Newberry, Keenan, Georgetown, Loris, Oceanside Collegiate, Battery Creek, and Fox Creek. All right, that's 3A boys. And let's see. We did we got to do the 2A boys. We did the 5A. Did we not? 5A Division 2 boys? I think we did them. So the 2A boys, last ones to play last night. And the winners were High Point, Eau Claire, Andrew Jackson, Fairfield Central, Clinton, Saluda, American Leadership, and Chesney. That's in the upper state. And the lower state winners, Hampton County, York Prep, Mullins, Lake Marion, Central, Marion, Philip Simmons, and Atlantic Collegiate. And the games are continuing tonight, of course. So we'll update tonight's results for you tomorrow night. Back to South Carolina basketball. South Carolina and Florida. Give you an update on what's happening down in Gainesville. It's a 10-point lead now for the Gators, 27-17. They're shooting 58% to South Carolina's 32%. The Gators have made, they've made 6 of their last 9. The Gamecocks have made 3 of their last 7, 27-17. Gamecocks have only turned it over 1 time, so they've been protecting the ball. They do have 5 fouls, and they're now trailing rebounding-wise 14-9. They have had 5 offensive rebounds themselves. Michi Johnson up to 8 points for the Gamecocks. He's taken 9 shots, Bergie, so he's being aggressive out there. He's not being shy out there shooting the basketball. He's 3 of 9 so far, 1 of 3 from 3.
Yeah, he's got to be. And the scary part is, if you're looking at it from Carolina's perspective, Florida's already made more 3-pointers than USC has. And if the Gators are going to outshoot them from 3-point range, The Gamecocks have literally no chance to win because they can't go toe-to-toe with them down inside. So to counteract that is their ability to shoot and knock down threes from the outside, and just 2 of 7 is not going to get it done tonight for sure.
Well, the Gamecocks have lost 6 in a row, coming in by an average of 19.5 points, okay? So they're not being really competitive against these best teams. And, of course, Florida, I think Florida's as good as anybody in the country the way they're playing. They've been just so red hot. And so when you look at the rest of this Gamecock schedule and what they might be able to salvage, my goodness, go ahead and lose tonight. You're 11-15. You've already clinched a losing record in SEC play for the third time in 4 years under Lamont Paris. So you lose tonight, you'll be 2-11, 11-15. And then you get Mississippi State at home on Saturday, which, I mean, nothing is taken for granted here for South Carolina. But I would say, in all likelihood, that stands to be their last chance to win a game in the regular season because they do have Kentucky at home. And Kentucky's been sort of hot and cold, but that's against really good teams. I still say Kentucky will be too talented. Plus, I'm assuming Kentucky fans are still revved up about their team, and they're going to show up. The Kentucky fans, they look for arenas where the home team is not doing well and there's plenty of tickets available. They can't get tickets to their home game, so they buy these tickets on the road. I mean, there could be 15,000 Kentucky fans at that game.
It wouldn't surprise me in the least if they take over the CLA. It'd be embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Then a trip to Georgia, and then you finish up at home with Tennessee, and then you go to Ole Miss for the last game. If they go, let's say they beat Mississippi State 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1-4. If they finish up 1-4 or lose tonight, that'll be 1-5. That's 12-19 and 3-15. What's that going to mean for Lamont Paris's future at South Carolina?
It's a really, really good question, and probably one I'm sure Jeremiah Donati did not want to have to answer this year, but he's going to be staring that square in the face because I'm like you, I just don't see maybe one more win left on that schedule for them.
Got a huge buyout, $12 million if something were to happen after this season. But you could find a way to get out of it like Kansas State's trying to get out of it with their coach. Back in a moment.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We'll start to cloud up overnight. We do stay quite mild, a low temperature of 50. Tomorrow, more clouds than sunshine. Look for a high of 73. It's the same forecast for Thursday. A little bit warmer, 76 the high. On Friday, a 30% chance for rain to go with a high temperature all the way up to 79 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Looking to upgrade your home with beautiful, long-lasting floors? At Carpet One Columbia, we make it easy. From luxury vinyl and hardwood to plush carpet and custom rugs, we have hand-selected options to fit your lifestyle and your budget. We're locally owned and operated with 2 convenient showrooms next to Riverbank Zoo and in West Columbia. Come walk our floors before you choose yours. Carpet One, trusted flooring done right.
The Point. The Point.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Authorities say 6 backcountry skiers have been found alive, and 10 others are still missing after an avalanche in Northern California during a powerful winter storm moving through the state. Search and rescue crews were dispatched to the Castle Peak area northwest of Lake Tahoe after someone called 911 to report an avalanche with people buried. U.S. Capitol Police in Washington, D.C. have arrested an 18-year-old man after he ran toward the west side of the Capitol building armed with a shotgun. Capitol Police Chief Michael Sullivan said Carter Camacho of Smyrna, Georgia, parked a Mercedes SUV near the Capitol on Tuesday, got out and ran several hundred yards toward the building before officers intercepted him and ordered him to the ground. More details at srnnews.com.
When your pipes panic, Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning steps right in, fast and friendly. Josh and his team aren't just fixing leaks, they're restoring your peace of mind. This is when you're at your most vulnerable. You got a problem, you need a solution. They're not coming out to upsell you or talk you into something new this or new that. You'll appreciate their process. They'll tell you what needs to get done and what it'll cost before they ever even bring in their tools to start the work. They're locally owned, which unfortunately is no longer the norm in the Midlands. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning will treat every home like their own. They've done work for me, for my brother, countless numbers of Point listeners. Dial 799-2222 or visit franklinplumbing.sc.com and you tell them Kev from The Point sent you. You will experience plumbing that's more than just a fix. It's a solution from people who care about their work and stand by it. When you need them, please don't panic. Just call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, 799-2222.
How often do you talk to your insurance agent? Have you had the same agent forever and just let your policy renew over and over again, even though the price of insurance has skyrocketed? I'm David Jolly of the Higgins & Halloran Insurance Agency. I'm the guy who wants to find you the best rates when that policy is ready to renew. I'm not tied to just one insurance company. I'll shop the best rates for you, and hopefully I can do better. If not, we'll find out why. Give me a chance. When you think about insurance, I ask that you think of me, David Jolly. Call me at 803-850-0054, and let's see how I can help.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat and Place. Just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat and Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Hey, it's Drew from ChimSpector. My job is to make sure your fireplace is working properly. At ChimSpector, we do annual inspections to ensure your home and family's safety. We also inspect and clean dryer vents inside your home. Are your clothes taking more than one cycle to dry? If so, it's time to get your dryer vent cleaned and inspected. This can save you big dollars on your power bill and increase the performance of your dryer. Let the ChimSpector team take a look online at chimspector.com or give us a call at 803-859-5858. That's 803-859-5858.
Discover the seamless blend of comfort and style with Lexington Discount Homes. With over 30 years of excellence in the housing industry, our focus is on delivering your dream home with unparalleled customer service. Explore a variety of designs tailored to meet any preference and budget. Drop by our showroom at 1847 Augusta Highway to witness the craftsmanship of a Lexington home firsthand, or explore online through a comprehensive virtual tour at lexingtondiscounthomes.com. Choose comfort, choose style, choose Lexington Discount Homes.
Okay, off and running with this NASCAR season officially now with the 500. Glad they got it in. Glad we didn't have a red flag. Glad we didn't have a yellow flag. Glad we had a race to the finish line, and what an exciting finish it was. Let's welcome in Josh Harris, president of Darlington. He knows a thing or two about exciting finishes. That was a good one, just like always it seems at Daytona, and I'm glad they were able to hold the pack together at the front and have a nice clean finish and a dash to the finish line, and a very popular winner and a very popular owner. That's all good stuff for NASCAR this past Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Great weekend as a whole in Daytona. All the races went off with no weather delays, which is a great thing when you're in Central Florida. And then had to move the start time up for the 500 a little bit, but I think that was the right call. And like you said, exciting race all throughout. A lot of three-wide racing, a lot of different leaders, and ultimately you get a very popular win with Tyler Reddick, Michael Jordan, team owner, his first Daytona 500. So all in all, I think a great start to the season.
So Michael Jordan, seeing Michael Jordan, now Michael Jordan's been in victory lane before. They've won races since he has been a co-owner of the team. But to see him, holding that Daytona 500 trophy the same way he was hugging those NBA championship trophies back in the day, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. A lot's been written, since he got involved as an owner about, his interest in NASCAR going all the way back to being a kid. And there's, I think this weekend, a photo circulated around of a young Michael Jordan with Richard Petty, at somewhere. And I think it just goes to show his the fandom that he has is genuine. It's been there a long time, and he knows what it means just in the entire world of sports to win a Daytona 500, how hard it is, and you could see how much it meant to him and how much he'll cherish that as a team owner. As a team owner, he'll get one of those trophies.
Yeah. Have you noticed any kind of a bump? Does NASCAR off the Daytona 500 weekend, do you notice that it gets any kind of a bump in terms of just national publicity, notoriety, conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. It does. The Daytona 500 champion always goes to New York the day after, so does a big media tour, and Tyler Reddick did that today. But just in general, I think there's always a bump to start the season with that. But when you have a team owner like Michael Jordan and his notoriety, I think it really just expands that outreach and broadens that net, so to speak, and you may get more pickup on places that you might not normally, and that's all good for NASCAR, good for the sport. We always see a little bump in ticket sales right around this time of the year, so we love seeing that as everybody's getting back into their NASCAR mode.
What do you like about Tyler Reddick?
I was telling Russell, I saw two drivers before the Daytona 500 Sunday morning walking around the garage. I was there for a meeting, and one of them was Tyler Reddick, and he was stopped and talked to a little group that I was in and shook his hand and told him, best of luck. And he's saying he didn't sleep that well the night before, just kind of that nervous anxiousness. But you could tell, he was locked in, he was focused, and I think that the thing that there's a couple things I like about Tyler. One, he's down to earth, he's very relatable to anyone, and he's very talented. He's won on just about every type of track there is. He can go to a Homestead, he can go to a Darlington and run the high line. He's won on the road courses. Now he's got super speedway wins. Just an all-around talented driver.
So Daytona being so different except from Talladega, did we learn anything about these teams? And I guess the fact that we're going to Atlanta this weekend, and Atlanta with the changes there and the speeds they run has taken on some similarities to Daytona and Talladega, I guess you could say. Maybe, I don't know if the draft is the same and the bump drafting is the same, but the speed is certainly about the same there. But did we learn much about the teams coming out of the week in Daytona?
Well, I think certainly you can look at who was strong there. There's, when you add the two Atlanta races, you've got 6 drafting races on the schedule. So, they do make up a nice portion of what we're going to do this year, and it's important for teams to run well. But certainly the draft is kind of that great equalizer, and I don't know until maybe, when we get to Darlington, after Darlington, the 6th race of the year, it starts to become one of those events by the time we get through with Darlington, we'll have run a couple of speedways, we'll have run a road course, we'll have run a couple of, mile and a half or around mile and a half tracks. And I think at that point, we'll really kind of know who's come to the 2026 season kind of on their game to start the year and who might still need some work. It's hard to read a lot into just one race in Daytona.
Yeah. So as you go to Atlanta, how do you like this shift going from Daytona to Atlanta this time around, keeping it here in the South for another week?
Well, I think it's great for, a number of fronts. The teams, it allows them to get back from Daytona, kind of reset, another close race over in Atlanta, not too far away. similar style track. And honestly, you know, from a viewership and from just an interest, you have the Daytona 500. You get a lot of, you know, maybe not hardcore NASCAR fans that tune into that, and it's an exciting race. You get them to come back the next week, a very similar style race, and I think that helps create some connectivity to the sport and draw some interest that can be sustained long term. So I think it's a really good move going to Atlanta as race 2 before the series then heads out west for a few weeks.
Yeah. All right, talking with Josh Harris from Darlington, and now that the season's underway, I mean, this is February 17th, so by this weekend, it'll be a month before we get to Darlington. So you guys got a lot of work to do in the next 30, 40 days or so.
That's right. Work is well underway, and lots of preparations going on. We're excited. You know, you can feel that excitement amongst all the team members, just getting ready, planning out all the different aspects of the weekend, triple header with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We announced today we've got the South Carolina Department of Public Safety back on board with us for that race. It'll be the Buckle Up South Carolina 200. This will be their multiple years of being the entitlement of that race, and we're excited for that. And then obviously the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series on Saturday and the Goodyear 400 on Sunday. So glad to have a triple header weekend, and all the preparation is well underway.
Would you say ticket sales are about where you would expect them to be, a little ahead, a little behind? How would you describe it?
No, I think for, you know, the season getting started, like I said, we saw a nice little bump over the weekend and first couple of days of this week with the Daytona 500 and everything, speed weeks going on. I'd say we're right kind of in line with where we thought we'd be at this point. Still got tickets available though, so don't want anyone to wait any longer than they can to get the best tickets remaining. We've got packages for the whole weekend. Kids 12 and under are free on Saturday and Friday, so a lot of great deals and opportunities out there for families, or if you got a business and you want to bring some of your best clients or some of your employees, we've got the opportunity to take care of all those.
Give us that last part again about the kids over the weekend. What's that again?
Yeah, so kids 12 and under are free on Friday and Saturday. With obviously, we hope they come with an adult. But, 12 and under, and then kids tickets start at $15 on Sunday for the Goodyear 400. So great way for families to come out and be able to enjoy the weekend. Pick one of those races if you want to. Friday night, Saturday late afternoon start at 5:30, and then obviously the Goodyear 400 at 3 o'clock.
Best way to get tickets is what? Online on the website?
Yep, all the options are right there on our website, darlingtonraceway.com. If you want to talk to somebody, though, ticket agents are standing by. You can give us a call at 866-459-RACE.
Awesome. Well, we are off and running. Looking forward to Darlington down the road, but right down the road is Atlanta, and we'll talk with you about that next week.
All right, thanks, Phil. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Josh Harris, president of Darlington, with us tonight here on Sports Talk. Bergie, South Carolina, hey, they have fought back and made this thing a little bit interesting.
Well, like I said, after getting humiliated at home, you would hope they would have shown up with a better effort, and so far they have. Only down 8, final minute of the opening half.
35-27, Michi Johnson has 12 for the Gamecocks. Shinaloo has 11. It's now down to 6. Be right back.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
Hi, Phil Kornblut here with our good friend George Bryan III, heard every Friday night on Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps right here on Sports Talk. George, the Tsunami Bar, a very valuable tool for golfers. Why is that?
Well, the first thing that I say is the tempo. It's the only tool out there that allows the study of tension right from the first grab to be expressed, and rhythm and tempo is what makes the bar work, and it gives you something awfully special to keep those hands soft and get that rhythm going.
Learn more about Tsunami Bar technology by clicking on the digital ad on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, and save 5% by purchasing online using the promo code BBB5.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Okay, that's time for recruiting tonight here on Sports Talk. It is brought to you by the one and only Seawell's. Seawell's Food Catering in Columbia. The daily luncheon buffet coming up tomorrow on a Wednesday. And make sure you head over there and get yourself a great meal. You come into town for the South Carolina Gardner-Webb baseball game. Let me tell you what you do. The game's at 4. So you come into Columbia, you time it up. You come in about 12:30, 1 o'clock. You spend an hour eating at the Seawell's buffet. You're finished around 2. They close at 2. You finished around 2. You mosey on over to the ballpark. You got a full stomach. You're well rested. You can probably get a little nap in, then go over to the ballpark. How about that, Bergie? That's what I call a fine afternoon.
That's a great plan.
I might do that myself. But you don't have to wait on a ball game to come into Columbia to go to Seawell's. Come in anytime. Yeah, if you're going over to the State House maybe to, I don't know, pay your favorite legislature under the table to get get a road built through your estate maybe, or maybe an easel put in a particular way, an easel. You know what an easel is? It's a road thing. And you have to, you pay the legislature under the table there to get the... Isn't it called an easel? What's that thing called?
Talking about a painter's easel?
No.
What are you talking about, Phil?
No, it's a curve.
You're talking about an easement.
That's it, an easement, yeah. A curb.
An easement. It's like the...
You don't know what I'm talking about,
I know what an easement is. I don't know what an easel is. I've never used those in school. Easel, I mean...
You don't paint.
Well, the easement's like the 5 feet between the road and your home, or in between your property, where the city or the county owns.
I hope they, when you have your house, when you finally have a house, I hope your city builds a sewage ditch right through your backyard and you can't do anything about it. I just hope they run it right through there. Anyway, back to Seawell's. Make sure you get there for the daily luncheon buffet the rest of this week. What do we have tomorrow?
I don't know. They had today's menu, but then tomorrow for the Wednesday, it just has the 11th. So
okay. Well, they're busy just deciding what to put out.
So it's a big decision to make.
And if you need the best in the catering business to handle your event, make sure you give Seawell's a call at 803-771-7385, online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. Checking in with big offensive lineman Peyton Miller. He's 6'5", 300 out of Anna, Texas. Clemson's been all over him with Coach Matt Luke going out to visit him. Clemson made him, of course, an early offer, and he's going to be coming to Clemson for their junior day in March. He also has an official visit scheduled with the Tigers for their official visit weekend in May. So he's got the Tigers down for a couple of visits and looking to take a closer look at the program when he gets there to take a look at it. He's been there for a game before, but now he'll get a chance to look at it even more closely. He's been to Arizona State's junior day. He also has visits planned, Florida, Texas, Texas Tech, and officials, Texas and Texas Tech. SMU has an official with him as well. Highly recruited offensive lineman. Running back Javaris Warner, LaGrange, Georgia, has an official set with USC June 5th, according to the Big Spur. He also has set officials with Stanford April 24th, Duke May 29th, Cincinnati June 12th, Wake Forest June 19th. He's been committed to Cincinnati. South Carolina target offensive lineman Jason Elston was offered by Oklahoma State. USC target offensive lineman Junior Saunders scheduled an official visit to Virginia Tech on June 5th. Offensive lineman Chavez Dixon, who has Clemson interest, has an official to North Carolina June 19th. Receiver Jabari Watkins of Thomasville, Georgia, offered by South Carolina, but he named the top 10 Texas A&M, North Carolina, Kentucky, Louisville, Georgia, Arkansas, Florida State, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, and Pitt. Safety Jarrell Chandler of Knoxville, official to Clemson May 29th, also has one to Vandy June 5th. Running back Gary Walker, Fairburn, Georgia, scheduled an official with Clemson May 29th, also has official set with Stanford, Virginia Tech, Penn State, Florida State. Defensive back Mason Hefner, Lake Norman, North Carolina, plans to be at a Clemson spring practice on March 2nd. Offensive lineman Carter Jones plans to be at Clemson's junior day March 7th. I mentioned Chavez Dixon earlier. He also plans to be at Clemson for the junior day March 7th, has an official with Florida State June 5th. Tight end Grant Haviland, Milton, Georgia, will visit Clemson March 7th for the junior day. Clemson target wide receiver Tay Walden of Memphis scheduled official visits to Georgia June 12th, Oregon June 19th. He has Clemson down for the 29th and Missouri June 5th. Clemson target receiver Elias Pearl of Port Charlotte, Florida, offered by Florida. We mentioned Gary Walker, Clemson target running back, picked up an offer from Wisconsin. Linebacker A.J. Randall from Raleigh has South Carolina down for one of his visits in April. Defensive end Anthony Sweeney has a spring visit set with South Carolina March 18th. Offensive lineman Paul Corrado Jr., Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, plans to visit USC for a spring practice. USC target offensive lineman Kendreas Jones of Loganville, Georgia, was offered by Georgia Tech. USC target cornerback Emerson Lewis of Savannah was offered by Arkansas. Lucy Beckham offensive lineman Ty Johnson offered by Missouri. USC target cornerback Kanaz Sullivan of Stafford, Virginia, offered by Florida and Notre Dame. There you go with recruiting here on Sports Talk. Bergie, why don't you throw us to Coach Bakich after the Clemson win?
Yeah, Clemson 11-1 over Charlotte in 7 innings. Afterwards, Coach Bakich, as Phil pointed out, Eston Simpson and also Jacob Jarrell met with the media briefly to recap what was a relatively easy day at the ballpark for the Tigers.
Good victory. I thought we played well in all phases. It's a good hitting club. They've got threats in their lineup up and down. So, threw a lot of different arms tonight. And, outside of a solo home run, to be able to, to minimize the offensive opportunities over there against a good club. That was good to see. Good defense. And then of our 11 runs, 8 of them came with 2 outs. So 8 2-out RBIs, none bigger than Jacob Jarrell's 2-out grand slam. Nate Savoy continues to swing a hot bat, and it's the top of the order. Jaron purified 3 walks tonight, and just guys really setting the table and having a lot of quality at bats up and down the lineup. So great team win. We'll certainly take it, and it was just exactly what we needed to get ready for Bryant.
I mean, it's a lot different, but it's not like other place I'd rather be. I mean, like the fans, the atmosphere here is just so much. It just overwhelms you at times because it's so much, and I just can't get enough of it. You got a little jitters because I'm a freshman, but I mean, other than that, Coach always talks about owning our preparation. So I mean, after I executed my preparation, I mean, even if you have good stuff or bad stuff that day, I mean, you're end of the day, you know, your preparation's good. So, I mean, I had full faith in that. So, yeah.
I mean, I honestly kind of blacked out. I just, you know, people keep passing the torch to me, and you know, I was lucky I had the opportunity. And, I mean, it was a great team effort tonight. I mean, everybody swung well, so it's exciting. Yeah, like when we do scouting with all the coaches, like they give me, you know, pretty much all the pitches, everything I need to know up there. So, you know, thanks to them, I kind of knew what was kind of coming a little bit. I was kind of expecting that slider, but the scouting here, it's phenomenal. I mean, we go through everybody's, you know, stuff, and so I was up there with a plan. So, yeah.
Typical Clemson post game with the coach, the player, and the mower. Thank you. I want to thank the mower for showing up.
And the leaf blower.
On time. Holy cow. 5-1.
That run that Coach Backett, pointed out, it snapped a string of 25 straight innings that Clemson pitching had thrown scoreless. So they've been as good as they've been offensively. Their pitching staff has been outstanding. And 5 runs in the first inning, all unearned. Really hard to win a ball game when you give up 5 unearned runs in the first inning.
No question. South Carolina leading Wofford now 5-1 in the bottom of the 8th. Prisco has come on to pitch for the Gamecocks, following Chickoli, Foster, and Park. So the Gamecocks are up 5-1. College of Charleston beat Coastal Carolina 4-3. At halftime, South Carolina is making it a little more interesting. It's 39-29, Florida over South Carolina. Gators shoot 48%. Gamecocks shoot 35%. Michie Johnson has 12 for South Carolina. Shinaloo has 11 for Florida at this point. Gators are 3 of 11 from 3. The Gamecocks are 3 of 11 from 3. And rebounding, it is 23-14 Florida, with 8 offensive rebounds for the Gators for 15 second-chance points. Somehow the Gamecocks are hanging in there despite that lopsided battle of the boards there going Florida's way, which is what Florida does.
Mm-hmm. And it could have been closer. Carolina had the ball late in the first half, down 8, and they give up, as Justin Gray over at Coastal always calls it, a pick 6. Terrible pass by Michie Johnson out on the wing that got intercepted and ends up in a layup. So instead of possibly cutting it down to 6 or 5 at the half, they're down 10.
Charleston Southern beat Gardner-Webb 75-66, and Rich Bisaccia, one-time USC and Clemson assistant, leaving the Green Bay Packers as their assistant head coach and special teams coordinator. Maybe Beamer will hire him to come to Columbia. That'll do it. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.